yeah, so we're on the street stall. People will come up to us and they'll go, Scotland gets what England wants. That's if somebody thinks that they've got an idea that we're wrong. They'll say, but Scotland always gets what England wants at Westminster. Now, what do they mean by that? Well, here's what they mean. There are 650 MPs at Westminster. There are 530 from England. There are 59 from Scotland, 40 from Wales, and 18 from Northern Ireland. So, on the face of it, England could outvote the rest of the UK by 4.5 times if it wanted to. It could do that. It could get its way like that. But here's the thing. That has never happened, and it never will happen, because that's not the way that Westminster works. The way it works is that the Parliament is divided on party lines and ideological lines. It is not divided on national lines. England doesn't vote against Scotland, doesn't vote against Northern Ireland, which doesn't vote against Wales. It's the British Parliament, and it's divided only on party and ideological lines. And sometimes parties themselves are divided against each other on ideological lines. And sometimes, as we've seen recently, people will split away from parties. So the idea that England always gets its way is not correct, because England never votes as England, just as Scotland never votes as Scotland per se. The Parliament works on party and ideological lines, and everybody votes at the end of the day for what is considered to be the best interests of the United Kingdom, unless, of course, you are one of the separatist crew who simply only ever vote for what they perceive as their country's interests, such as the Welsh nationalists or the Scottish nationalists, or the Sinn Féiners who don't even attend Westminster. So that's how we would respond. We say that's not how Parliament works. England doesn't get its way because England doesn't vote as England in the British Parliament. The Parliament is divided not on the basis of nations, but on the basis of party and ideological difference. And why that mistake is regularly made by such people is because the Scottish nationalists really do believe that the SNP is Scotland. So if they see the SNP being outvoted, they think it is Scotland being outvoted. Well, it's not Scotland being outvoted, it's the SNP. It's a political party being outvoted. There are other MPs in other parties from Scotland, and sometimes they also will be outvoted, or they may get their way. And sometimes the SNP also is part of a winning coalition of votes, and it gets its way then. But they never make a thing about that. When they get their way, they don't make a thing about it, but when they get voted against, then they make a thing about it. So the Scottish nationalist confusion arises because they genuinely do believe that the SNP is Scotland, when it's not Scotland. It's simply a political party. So the reality is Scotland never gets outvoted, because no countries get outvoted. It is political parties and ideological tendencies which get outvoted. And that's a key way of understanding the British Parliament correctly. And if you don't see that, then you will misinterpret what it's all about. And you will wonder, well, why? You will, if you imagine the SNP is Scotland, obviously you're going to be quite confused anyway. But we do our best here in order to lessen the confusion. We know that Scottish nationalists are easily confused, so we do our best to educate them, essentially, and to help them understand the nature of reality within which they live and have their being. And that's a tough call. That's a big ask, quite frankly, for many. But we're up to the task. We're up to the task because A Force for Good is Scotland's premier pro-UK campaigning and advocacy organisation.